everybody. Welcome to the Tech Thirsty Power Women Thursdays, where we bring to you some very powerful women, very successful women, and their stories. And we take nuggets from them on their life, their work, everything that they can bring to the table. We try to use them in ways that more and more people can benefit from it, whether it's in terms of work, in life, etc. Today, I'm very happy that I have a very special lady with us, somebody I really admire, and I've known her for a long time, Dr. Shakuntala Lavasa. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Nishtha. It's a pleasure being with you as always. Tell me, what can I do for you, Nishtha?
So, just to give an introduction to our viewers, Dr. Lavasa is a renowned immunologist and a pediatrician. She is currently Director for Allergy and Pediatrics at the USL Medical and Research Center. She is known for her extensive work in allergies and children's health. She provides consultancy, conducts research, writes blogs, and speaks on many platforms to cover both these areas and issues. She has also won the S.T. Achar Gold Medal of Indian Academy of Pediatrics. So, ma'am, it is such a difficult time, such a different time for everybody. Let's start with that. How has been the lockdown for you?
Oh, thank you so much, but missing the patients, because, feeling for them that earlier they used to come so often to the clinic, and now we are able to provide only the telemedicine consultations. So feeling for them. But on the whole, I realized that we are not all that bad, I mean, we are able to manage them even on telemedicine. And in a way, it's turning out a boon that they don't have to travel so much, and sitting at home also, we are able to offer them the help, whatever is needed. But on the whole, it's bad for everyone, because they call it social distancing, but the physical distance is the one which is really bothering everyone, because socially we are still connecting, like you and me are connecting with so many viewers, we keep connecting with our friends. So it is a difficult time, it is a trying time, but as they say that this too shall pass. So let's hope for the best.
Yes. So, do you think with this whole change, telemedicine will pick up? Do you think it will really become a trend or something that more and more people, more and more doctors provide and more patients use?
See, I would put it like this, that considering the shortage of specialists and super specialists in our country, so if we keep the day-to-day health care apart from the specialist and super specialist care, then I would say that telemedicine was being practiced by us even before COVID time. Because look, like I am an allergy specialist. So if someone comes from abroad, or if someone comes from a far off place like Jharkhand, or, let's say down south, so he cannot come so many times in a year. So after the initial visit, to some extent, we were taking help of telemedicine, like getting the protocol on email, then studying it, getting their videos, talking to them on phone, giving consultations, and then calling them only maybe 4 times in a year or something. So I would say that for everyday care, you do need a doctor that, you feel reassured, the smile of the doctor, the touch of the doctor. For us, even hugging the little children, like I being a pediatrician, so all those things, they also have a special healing effect on our patients. That part is being missed. But then on the whole, when nothing better can be done, it is telemedicine, that you talk to them and you reassure them that you are not alone in these trying times. We are always there to give you expert guidance for your needs. So that way it is quite all right, and it is successful also. And as I told you, that super specialists, etc., are very few. So when you need special consultation, instead of traveling from far off and wasting your time and energy, and getting exposed. It is better to sit in your comfortable environment and understand your problem. So that way it is pretty successful, and I feel that it has a future. In future also, people are going to resort to it.
Great.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely, it does. And we really hope that more and more technologies come up that are able to help society in such different ways.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I was actually speaking to an expert earlier this morning, and he said that at this point, because we don't understand this disease, it's more important to stay healthy and to be fit and take care of yourselves, because we don't know when the drug will develop. The right drugs will at least develop. So what's your take on wellness at a time like this? How do people take care of themselves?
Okay. See, Nishtha, if I tell you that wellness, I mean, it is very easy to feel the wellness. But if you put it in the right perspective, according to WHO, World Health Organization's definition, wellness is not only just being absence of disease, it is the physical, mental, social, and spiritual well being. You understand? So, wellness is not something which can come just overnight. It's not a switch which I can switch on. You have to be habitual of practicing the wellness. Your physical health should be up to date. Your mental health should be up to date. Like you should be stress free, or you should have coping skills to deal with stress. Because in today's time, nobody can say that I don't have stress. But people are different from each other, because those who have coping skills to deal with stress, their mental health is good. Then social health. So although at this time we are saying social distancing, but to my mind, social distancing is not the right word. It is only the physical distancing, but socially and emotionally feeling more close by technology.
That's all
And
right.
spiritual health, so that you have to practice every day and get it into your system. So if you have those kind of habits, like eating balanced food, remaining happy, feeling for another person, that whether he is in pain, whether you can help his anxiety, whether you can give him any other different kind of help. Like say for example, these migrant laborers were there, so people were collecting donations, people were giving them parathas, people were giving them chappals, people were arranging buses for them to go, so this kind of thing, that feeling for another human being, feeling for another creature, feeling for plant, feeling for environment, so all such feelings. Sleeping well, if you feel for someone, you are human. And if you are human, you have no difficulty in sleeping. Your head hits the pillow late, but you go off to sleep fast. So to my mind, balanced food, everyday exercise, having good thoughts, remaining stress free, and having good sleep, these are the essential things, and you have to practice them every day. So now it is no different from another day. If you are stressed now more, you need to practice the wellness steps much more. So that is important, and that can keep you safe, I feel.
Thank you. Those are such lovely tips, and something all of us can actually practice in everyday life. Can you also tell us, because you're such an expert of children, I've personally seen that. I have personally, you have helped my son so much. What's your thought on wellness for children in these years?
Yes, actually, we adults have lot of responsibility towards children, because we have always been encouraging that children should be outdoors, children should have less screen time, you know children should be more social. But in such difficult times, we are the ones who are telling children that be in lockdown and do online classes. you know So whatever we were telling them before, we are just telling them now the reverse of what we were. So it is very, very important for us to see that they do not become confused. You know, we have to explain to them very scientifically that how this time is different, and we have to find a balance that we are not all the time pushing even the little ones like 1 year, 2 year, 5 years into just online classes. To my mind, it doesn't make any sense. There can be other method which the schools can devise, but then not that they should push anybody who is below 10 years into online classes, because screen time is not at all healthy for child's mental development. Let me tell you this. So much so that we used to say that below 2 years you should not let them see the phone, not let them see the TV, because that is the time when brain is developing the best. But now what's happening is that because of the, I actually call it child abuse by parents, that they are pushing as little as 2 years into so-called play schools, and there is so much competition that children are going to school at such a young age. So in my mind, once I thought that lockdown is actually good because children have such relaxed time at home. But when I came to know about these online classes, we have taken up, so much from the Indian Academy of Pediatrics side also, that for online classes there should be some rules. Only children above 10 years should be in online classes, and the hours should be fixed. And also, we have to, even if they do online classes, we have to encourage certain minutes of break so that the eyes are refreshed. And even when the classes are going on, that 20-20-20 exercise, I wonder whether you know about it or not, but that should definitely be practiced by not only children, by adults as well. That after every 20 minutes of screen time, you have to wink your eyes 20 times and you have to look 20 meters apart. So such healthy habits have to be inculcated. And luckily in single homes you have terrace, so you can keep the children busy in outdoor activities upstairs. But in flats, I wonder whether this will be possible. But see, I mean, it is for the parents to find that what can be the best, because outdoor has to be encouraged and indoor the screen time has to be limited. Even if they do screen, then the eye exercises have to be encouraged. And in general, keep them in good spirit, because this is the time where parents are also at home, the grandparents at home, and the child is also at home. So in general, that is the way I feel that we have to, adults are responsible and we have to modify our methods.
Thank you for those insights, and I completely agree. I think children are really being abused with the amount of online screen time they have to face, and also because that's their only outlet. So a lot of parents like me are guilty of it.
Yeah.
Let's come to now coronavirus, because we are all affected by it. The entire world, the population of the entire world is affected by it. What's your thought as an expert? Do you think immunity helps to fight something like a coronavirus, which nobody knows much about?
See, in coronavirus, since it is a novel virus and every day, a lot of information is emerging. So even if you feel that it is one infection for which you need at least the common infection prevention or infection control measures, so that also should be practiced in addition to what you specially practice for coronavirus. So generally, eating good food, keeping away from infected people. That is, someone has fever, someone has, running of nose, someone has rashes. So in general also, even if it was not coronavirus, you will advise people that, you have to be keeping away from such people. If someone has running of the nose, you will advise that, you have to use tissue and you have to discard your tissue properly into waste bin. So all those precautions, then you will advise people that, if you are infected, you will wash hands. If you are infected, you will keep away from rest of the family. You will eat separately. You will keep your towels separate. So these are the precautions which are there for even general infections. You will eat balanced food. You will sleep well. So these are the things, which boost your immunity. But in coronavirus, because, see, it is very contagious. So therefore, hand to mouth contact has to be avoided at every cost. Like you don't have to take your hand to make your hair all right, or to wipe your nose, to rub your eye. So all those precautions are absolutely necessary. And inadvertently, the hand goes on the face. So therefore, a reminder that, every now and then you are washing hands. In fact, practically I have seen in my own house, my brother's grandson, he's not even 2, but he's all the time telling, Dadaji, haath dholo, Dadaji, haath dholo. And it's practically, like ingrained in him, like every hour he would come and remind, Dadaji, haath dholo, and he would literally wash with. So therefore, like these are the precautions, that social distancing, not unnecessarily partying, that, oh, someone's 75th birthday, wo kya sochegi, we have to go. I mean, if you are their friend and they are your friends, you have to make them understand that, it's good time, that in good time we will celebrate. And at the moment, let's just do cheers on Zoom, So that is what I feel, that social distancing, wearing the mask properly, that is also something very important. Because nowadays, I have seen that mask with younger generation also has become like a helmet. कि पुलिस दिख रही है तो फट से पहन लिया, otherwise लटका हुआ है. It doesn't make sense, because rules are to protect you. Rules are to protect your disease. Rules are for your well-being. So they should not be taken in the spirit that rules are meant to be broken. So we have to wear a mask which should be properly 3-layered, which should be properly fitting, so that there is no air leak from the side, etc. And you also might have heard that, those masks with respirator.
Yes.
They are not good. They are actually meant for pollution control, but they are not meant for virus control.
Right.
So you have to wear a proper mask which is 3-layered. It can be of cloth. It can be of any good material which is skin friendly. And it can be stitched at home also, but then it should be proper and you should wear it properly. That is most important. Some people just put it on the chin. Some people, while talking, remove the mask. That is the most dangerous situation, because talking is one thing. Talking, singing, sneezing, coughing, these are the things which result into droplets, and droplet transmission is very forceful when you do all this. So you should be rather masked. But I have seen that even on TV also you will see that they will remove the mask and then speak. So that is not giving a very good message to public.
Right.
So mask use, social distancing, and hand washing. These are the special precautions for corona. And I would add one more thing, that not panicking.
Okay.
Because so what? If someone has come in your contact, someone is your neighbor, and you happen to get it, if you have slightest of doubt, you get yourself tested. And if you are very mild in your symptoms, you can stay at home quarantine, like you stay in a separate room. You just keep monitoring your own thermometer temperature. You keep monitoring your oximeter. There is a device which you can keep at home. And only if you get into trouble, then you need to rush to the hospital. Otherwise, it will pass off. Because in majority of cases, I mean, even if you have to go to the hospital, it's not necessary that everyone needs oxygen, everyone needs ventilator. So most important is to be aware that if I have come in contact, I should volunteer for testing. If I test positive, I should quarantine myself responsibility. And if I have it, still I should not worry, because in majority it's, it doesn't have any consequence. So these are the very important thing. The most important is not to panic, not to be anxious. So I
But
hope.
so I just wanted to know. A lot of people are saying that a lot of people are asymptomatic. They don't have the symptoms. What
Yeah,
happens in a case like that? That what everybody. I mean, this is what we have been reading, that a lot of people are asymptomatic. We don't know who is the carrier and who are we likely to get it from. So how does one define that? Like you're saying that you protect, you kind of be aware of people around you who are facing it. But what about people who are asymptomatic?
yeah. This is a very big thing which has emerged, that, asymptomatic, that you do not have any symptoms, but still you can be a carrier of corona. It depends upon your travel history, who you have come in contact, and you could be asymptomatic, that you do not have any symptoms, you do not have any sort of fever, breathlessness, cough, anything, but you could still be a carrier of virus and you are capable of transmitting it to another person. So that is how the value of mask and the social distancing and the hand washing is. That even if you have come in contact with asymptomatic and you have got a virus, but then at least you are not taking it to your nose, because you have washed it off. जैसे कहते हैं ना, हाथ धो के पीछे पड़ जाओ. So so, if you have, firstly, if you have maintained a distance, then you would not get it. If you have worn a mask very properly whenever you are coming in close proximity of people, then you will not get it. By any chance, if you got it, still, if you will wash off your hands, then you will get rid of it. So asymptomatic, like, you have to see that potentially everyone is a corona carrier and you have to follow all the precautions. That is what my take is on this.
Right, right. Yes, I completely agree. We should all be very, very cautious, I think, at this
Yeah,
time.
we have to be cautious, because there is no shortcut. You know, we don't know for how long the virus is going to stay,
Right.
and if we have even if we have vaccine, we are not sure that how effective it will be. At least for these techniques, we are sure that they are in our hands. You know, when the vaccine comes, there will be so many things that in how many percentage of people it will produce immunity, whether a single dose will produce immunity or only if you take boosters, then you will be immune. All those things will be there. But for these precautions, they are in the hands of individuals. So we have to change our behavior and, be responsible citizens. And if we are responsible citizens, children are surely going to follow our examples, because children very, very much copy adults and they respect adults.
Right. That's true. Well, I could go on and on. I have many questions, but we're running out of time. So I'll end it with a very important question, ma'am. I know that I'm a mother. A lot of mothers face it. How do we build immunity for our children while they're growing up? What are some things we can do so that our children have better immunity?
Okay. See, our children, the immunity has to be right from the day the child is conceived into you. So the first step of immunity is that if the mother gets immunized against tetanus toxoid, so the child is born with immunity for tetanus. Okay. When the child is born, then you give him BCG vaccination and polio drops. So that is first step towards building immunity against tuberculosis and polio. When the child is due for at 6 weeks for other vaccinations like DPT, so you are protecting him from whooping cough, diphtheria, etc. So like this, hepatitis. So whatever vaccines are available, we have to take children regularly for vaccinations. So
Right.
that is they are building immunity in them. So that is absolutely, at least we should make use of the methods which are available. So you will be surprised that the available vaccines also, the take is less than 60%, you know. So which means today we are getting worried for coronavirus, but what have we done with, against all those things, you know, which are available? You know, still so many children die of tetanus, which is such a preventable cause. If it happens, then you can do nothing about it. You will be surprised that measles has re-emerged even in America. And you also must be knowing from your children's experience that we started with the measles vaccination campaign in all the schools, and 100% children were immunized. So at least the first step in immunity is that parents have to be conscious of the immunity, that the vaccines are for immunity building, and as responsible people we should take our children for regular vaccinations. And not only the educated have to vaccinate their own children, but we keep coming every day in contact with so many people who are not, who are underprivileged, who are, you know, not educated, say for example our maid, this and that. So we should be responsible, that we should be asking them that how many children do you have, did you take her, we can give them special leave कि आज ये लगा के ही आना है, नहीं तो फिर, and you know, we can give them special incentive, अच्छा तूने अपने बच्चे को पूरा लगा दिया तो you are getting a 100 rupee raise, something like that, you know. So if we feel responsible for every child, whether you, my child, your child, but every child, then the immunity will be good. And you will be surprised that even for coronavirus, the study has come that those who are vaccinated against MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella, they have 20% better immunity. You know, you can think that if we have done something good to our children in terms of immunity, we have given them better future even for corona. Even for BCG vaccination, it has come that those who are vaccinated with BCG, they have better protection against corona. So in general, those methods plus the food, you know, junk food cannot be a routine. It can be just sort of, you know, priced. Okay, birthday, khalo, okay, ye ho gaya, khalo, like that. But otherwise, balanced food, we have to inculcate those kind of habits. And most importantly, outdoor sports, you know, sunshine. If you encourage children to expose their bare body to sun, even for 10 minutes, they will get the natural vitamin D. And vitamin D is a very, very good immunity booster. So that's all, you know, outdoor sports, outdoor sun exposure, good habits, hygiene, practice, routine vaccinations, all these things, which are the common sense things actually, you know. So these are the immunity boosters. And for corona, nothing extra is needed. I would not say that, you know, that whatever everybody is advising, tulsi and giloy and this and that. Okay, if you are used to taking all that naturally, they are good herbs. Take them naturally, but it's not like this that today you have to go hunting for tulsi and, you know, exposing yourself to 100 people. So that's what I mean to say.
Yeah, that's really helpful, Dr. Lavasa. I mean, because like you said, you know, people are running around for all these herbs, which are probably not required. All the recommendations you have made are so doable.
Yeah. Thank you. Because, you know, you will be surprised that we don't even have so many herbs. The Himalaya has been denuded, and I wonder from where are they finding so many herbs? I mean, herbs are good. They have been very well researched. Everything is good about them, but provided you find genuine herbs and you find in that particular quantity, because if you are unnecessarily demanding so much, so much, so much, then they are again making fake preparations. So everyday life, whatever we do, that has to be absolutely good, balanced diet. Every day we get balanced food, nothing extra we need.
Yeah.
So these are the good things which we should practice.
Thank you so much for this chat. And I'm really hopeful that our audiences is going to use all the amazing things and amazing tips you have given us.
Thank you, Nishta. It has been a pleasure being with you and hope to see you more often.
Yes.